All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of This Week in Charts via Carnival Trades and Wall Street for Main Street. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find Jason on Patreon and come find me on carnivaltrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. And we still have a sale for the month of March, really through April, for 60% off active trader and 20% off swing trades for your first month. So get in on that if you can. A lot of action this month, a lot of action this week, and I am ready to take a little breather here and get into the weekend with this this price activity this week. Take a look at Monday. So we had a very good gap down, and again, it feels like deja vu, really. So last couple of Fridays, we had the bid here. Said, hey, we're going to look for like a little bounce, and then possibly a leg lower. And same thing last Friday, right here, holding the 200 moving average, looked good for bouncing. Obviously did not follow through. We had the gap down Monday. Got a similar setup here again this week, and there's a lot of things that are kind of changing a little bit. And I know we're going to just run it back here and say that we can bounce next week. But one of the things that I think, or a couple of things I think that makes this bounce different and stands out to me is the prior bounces here. If you look at an intraday basis before, even going back to this one here, they're kind of just straight line short covering squeezes. Whereas here we have a gap higher, some consolidation, and then some more consolidation intraday. We also tested a couple of good levels here. Really that 550 whole round number. And if we just take a fib from the August low, you can see we hit a 618. And if we draw it out, this is what I call stacking fibs. We draw it out to the prior pivot in April. We retraced 50%. So we have two fibs right here. Additionally, today was the first day where we caught a bid where I saw volatility really back off. See the VIX down 12%, VVIX down 12% as well. This is way off the highs here. So it's indicative here that the market may start to get a bid. We also saw semiconductors the last couple of days really outperform the market on a relative basis. And we always look for the semis to be leading indicators, and they're actually green on the week despite the market volatility here. So we'll see if this does give us some relief here. I don't think that the volatility is done, but market down 10%, officially into correction yesterday. Market down 10% for the fastest time. I think it was 20 days, 20 calendar days, not trading days. Fifth fastest of all time. So at some point, markets don't go straight down or straight up. You're going to need some sort of relief here, and it's on the bulls to get back above 565 SPY, and I think from there we could see 580, which would be a retrace of, again, 50%. Maybe we could get up to the 618 around 588, 590. That would probably require some sort of pullback there first. But again, I don't think this is necessarily done with, but near term we should be looking for some sort of relief bid here, especially based on the confirmation I'm seeing from volatility. Seeing from semiconductors and also banks getting a nice bid here. XLF slicing this trend line this week and closing right back on it. You have a lot of charts as well, like XLF, that have an island here. So gap down and no follow through. These often can get reversed pretty quickly. So if we gap up Monday, this can turn around very fast. If we look at the Qs, you have a similar setup here, QQQ. Even on IWM. Right, the gap down Monday, no follow through. IGV, same kind of setup here. So a lot of these charts looking very similar, as you'd expect. And again, we'll just continue to look for, I know it's been 3 Fridays in a row, we'll continue to look for a bounce and a relief leg. And I think this time we have some confirmation of that. Resistance obviously will be 580, and then we'll talk about 590 if and when it gets there. Again, bulls still got to get through this trend line though. Early next week, mid next week, we have FOMC. There will be a lot of volatility attached to that as well. So a lot of hedges in place. If the Fed Fed doesn't crash the market, we could see hedges come off, and that could add fuel for an additional kind of push here and kind of get that secondary relief bounce. Anyway, if we do continue down by chance, 540 I think is very good support here in the near term. That's really what we're looking at right now. QQQ, again, short term, got a clear 483.97 on a close. And you can see actually, if we just draw this back in here, you can see that trend line going back to the bull market low pretty much. And that's been it. So we did break this trend line on the weekly close, but we have a nice hammer candle. So we'll see if that can reclaim next week. My guess is at the very least it's going to retest it and then probably retest the 200 moving average, maybe even the 500 handle. So that's what we're looking for there. IWM here up 2.4% today. Nice bid. Very, very oversold, deeply oversold. And I've talked about this weekly chart level right in here, and that's where it held. So we're looking for, maybe 200, maybe a Pierce of 200 max move, and that's what we got before rallying back higher. Dow, same thing, right into that 410 area. And if we look here on the weekly, actually, let me use the futures. I like this right here. Yep, so I like this level here on the Dow futures, right there. And we went straight into that with no bounces. So yeah, probably 42.5 or so would be your obvious stop. For the Dow DIA, probably looking at like 428, 430 there. SMH here again, leadership this week. Nvidia, this was green on the week as soon as Wednesday, so this was already catching a bid, and that led the way, and that told us that we were likely about done selling after that huge panic sell on Monday. And markets are getting about, Spider's up 2% now. That's a big move. Q's up 2.4. But SMH led the way there, up 3.12 currently as you get close to the closing bell here. IGV, again, gapping down like everything else, but look at this level here. What a level on IGV. So just back testing the previous all-time high, and it looks like it's going to close right on or above that weekly 50 MA. So, IGV holding up. Transports were very weak. And so we did break that area, bear flagged, and then we talked about 15,000. It did not even get a bounce there. And it did finally find its footing around 14.4, 14.5, which is this pivot low right here. And still down pretty substantially on the week. You can see a textbook bear inside bar there. Transport's not liking a lot of recession talk right now, and they're not doing well. We'll just keep it simple here. But they are, deeply oversold here, and we'll see if they can get some sort of relief bounce. All right, let's get over to rates. So starting off with the 2-year, so weekly. It was green on the week. We've had a lot of economic data. We had CPI and PPI, both of them missed, but 2-year managing to close higher on the week. So we're getting weak data, and yields are going up anyway. So yields are telling you that they don't believe the data. And again, I like this 10-year. I talked about this right at this 420 area. And I think it can push up into the 450, maybe 460 level. 30s, 4.8, maybe 4.85. You got to get through this little spot right here. But yield's still going up, and that's it even with weakening economic data. So they're not slowing down the debt train, and I think that's the bigger story. XHB down on the week. This was very weak. It's actually still red today. Actually, let me check that. I think that may have had a dividend there. Check ITB. I'm not sure. I have some missing data here on these. But anyway, XHB down on the week. It's holding 90s. It's holding that low there, the 97.50. VNQ down today as well, but coming off the lows here. XLF we talked about. Good bid there. KRE again holding a big level, that previous pivot high on the weekly. And nice back check to that, and that's right on the weekly 50 MA as well. A lot of things into that level. There's KBE getting a bounce too. Broker dealers also with a nice pop here. Oil, kind of sideways, starting to look like a little bit of an inside bar. So this could be a little bit of a inside bar bear pattern here. That said, I'm still looking for this to get a push towards that 70 handle. And sentiment here is still pretty poor. From I believe Goldman, their historical short positioning. Just bear with me 1 second. All right, so right here, the street is as bearish crude as they were in March 2020, when effectively 40% of the world was shutting down. And now, I mean, I guess we're down on growth fears. So we do have the little bear pattern here, but any sort of surprise at the upside, any sort of surprise data could cause shorts to get on their heels a little bit. Needs to get and close above 68.10 on the daily to negate that red bar. So I'm still kind of in the camp here that this can push back to 70. Not really that bullish past that, at least not right now. But oil here, kind of a quiet week outside of that. XLE had a nice day today. I think this is getting ready to push higher. I'm seeing some signs of rotation into the energy space here, as some of the kind of tech names are getting kind of de-risked out of. Take a look at Exxon today. What a move. And this has a nice base here. If it can push through that, it's got a lot of space here to 116, maybe 120. So energy here on the cheap here, and I've been seeing this rotation. I mean, look at where we bottomed here on March 5th on XOP and OIH. Yes, they've underperformed here, but they've bottomed before the market. And they certainly bottomed before tech. So maybe we're seeing that kind of price activity here in the near term. Anyway, CCJ up 1.65%, kind of a flat to up week. I still like this level on URNM, but it's got to break back above 24, and NJ, same thing. That's kind of following that one. Nukes here holding the 200. I actually do like that. Or a bounce here as well. Nat gas maybe a little top heavy finally. So very good reversal candle on the daily. Just be careful with nat gas. It looks like it's topped out, but when it decides it needs to go somewhere, it just goes there. So just be careful. May do some consolidation though. Never quite got to 5. Maybe it can later this year or in due time. Anyway, dollar index here, kind of a soft week. We're holding basically that 618 right now. Still seeing some money leave the country, it seems, and going into Europe. So that's been causing some pressure. I still do like the dollar here for a bid, maybe back to 105, 105.50 area. But it has been under pressure here. Maybe the Fed can give it a little bit of a catalyst. But obviously a big breakdown over the last week or so in the DXY. That said, the dollar yen has gotten a little bit of a bid. It is green on the week. For bulls, for stock market bulls, I want to see this stay above 148 and reclaim that 20-day so we can get back to 152. That would take a lot of pressure off of tech. Gold here. What can you say? There's 3K. Actually just recorded a special report on gold for members. And right now we're close to my target here. I do have, actually just did like a quick trading view post on this, but you can see, at least on spot, the last 4 measured moves here, or the last 4 thrusts in the gold market have been about the exact same amount, so $550. And, I've just taken the low to the high here. That should take you up to about 30.90 on spot. So for futures, that might be a little bit above 3,100, depending on the contango. But yeah, we're looking at 30, we're at 3,000. We probably get to 3,100. I think that happens by early mid-April. Then I think gold's done for a little while. What a move here. GDX, basically at new highs as well. A lot of these companies are doing well. WPM at all-time highs. Franco-Nevada's caught up quite a bit here. I remember I gave this out as a long-term level at like 105 back in late 2023, and I didn't pull the trigger on it foolishly, but I know some of my members did, and that was a nice return around. It took it a long time, but come back very nicely. But yeah, GDX acting well, silver acting well. That should get to 38 by mid to late April. And then we've got platinum here up a little bit. I'm not as in love with the alternate precious metals right now, but they're hanging in there. And then copper's just been on a tear. Every time somebody mentions tariffs, the thing just goes higher. This is on a tear right now, and it's pretty powerful. Back below 480 could be a little bit of a fake breakout, so you want to see bulls hold that. But yeah, I mean, it's basically at $5 now. So pretty impressive stuff. Bitcoin holding up. And again, we talked about this last week. I've been talking about it all week on my channel. The fact that Bitcoin did not make a new low, well, it made a new low, but it didn't close, it didn't follow through, was possibly a leading indicator for the S&P this weekend. We're seeing a good bid here today. Bitcoin back above the 200-day. If it can do that, it can get its legs under it, we can go back to 92. I'm still thinking that this can try to test 100K one more time, but I don't think it's going to get past it. It feels a lot like kind of this consolidation, this big consolidation base that we had last year, where we're just kind of stuck in this range right now. It's not exactly the best here, but it's kind of like that similar structure, at least for now. If it does roll over, I mean, 70,000 is, that's right where you want it, I think. Maybe a little bit on, Bitcoin always overshoots, but definitely where I would get interested. Anyway, again, spiders here. Again, good rebound this week. So we got flushed really hard early, and they even like sliced the low pretty good yesterday. But a good bounce here. Again, no follow through yet. There's nothing proven, and for all we know, we could easily go lower. But based on what I'm seeing here in the volatility space, as well as some other leading indicators, I do think we have put in some sort of pivot here. And you can also see, just to throw this in there, McClellan, you're seeing a big bread thrust after a massively oversold condition. And today, Friday, 457 advancers. So that's a 90% up day. So we're seeing that bread thrust here that you want to see near a low. So anyways, guys, we'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretraders.com. Subscribe to Jason's channel. Go find him on Patreon. And I will see you guys all next week.